Hey, I just wanted to take a second before the show and say thanks for listening. I appreciate it. If you would share and download this and subscribe to my channels, however you take them in. And anyway, enjoy today's episode. Hello and welcome to the Zach Ratliff Show. I'm Zach. You know what? Thank God for another day on Earth. It was nice, crisp morning outside. Everything seemed right in the world. Beautiful day. Just thank God for it. Thank God for another day in the greatest country that's ever been on the face of this earth, creating more freedom religiously and elsewise than any time in history. It's our job to talk about it. It's our job to maintain it. It's our job to not be the silent majority. It's our job to actually care enough about the future for our children and our grandchildren and so on that we talk about it. We try to maintain and grow what we've got. Let me start off by thanking my sponsors. I'd like to thank Mortgage Financial here in Texarkana. I'd like to thank Elmwood Custom Goods. And I'd like to thank Church on the Rock, Texarkana. That's churchontherock.org. I've got a link to all of those places on my Facebook for sure, and also on the YouTube notes as well. So there you go. You can go find those through there, and I'd be uh, glad if you did. Um, hey, met well, I didn't meet, but came across one of you when I was at my deer lease over the weekend, and you know, look, I understand, and thank you all for listening. Um, there are thousands of you listening, and so I don't I don't pretend like I know everybody that's listening, and I can't see that. Um, but I was just out, putting out corn. It was actually Friday, and and I was like, "Hey, man, I love what you've got going." I appreciate that, and I appreciate those of you that text or email, which you can do that at zachratiffshow@gmail.com. Um, I just appreciate all the comments, and we're just gonna keep doing what we do around here. And as we're seeing this thing grow nationally and internationally, and it's a fun ride, right? So let's just keep going. Let's just keep talking about the truth. Let's talk about what makes our government spin. Let's talk about some Jesus, and we'll keep going. For those of you that are new to the show, I've got three or four principles that I go by. Number one, I'm a Christian. All right, that's my number one filter. I'm a Christian. After that, I'm a dad. I'm a father. After that, I'm a son, and after that, I'm a conservative. And that's the order in which that works, and that's the order in which I try to run my thought process through. Now, I'm not sinless, I'm not perfect. Uh, I'm a red-blooded American. I do stupid stuff every day. I say stupid things, and I try not to, but sometimes DNA gets the better of me. So, you know, there you go. But anyway, that's the filter that I'm going to bring everything through. I'm for open thought for those of you new to the show. I'm for open dialogue. I am for true liberalism, which is the freedom to think how you want to. I'm not for the liberal as it is now, where you have to believe a certain way, you have to buy into the climate cult, or you have to get along with the alphabet mafia or whatever. Now I'm not going to hate you for what you believe. As long as you don't hate me for it. It's not our side killing everybody right now. I'll just say. Um, okay, with all that being said, here's a quote that I want to be on your mind for the probably for every show. But for today. Here's a quote that I'm gonna read that you'll see that helps everything make sense. This is no what we're in. The liberals didn't just accidentally get to where we are. Right? We've been through the 45 points of communism multiple times. We've talked about how this is a plan um, for the last 100 years, and then Joe Cruz even talked about how it's a plan for more than that to for the downfall of America. Right? It's all about power. It's all about money, and we can never forget that. Um, and look, and just because I'm a conservative doesn't mean I think that all Republicans walk on water and they're perfect. There's only been one perfect person ever, And he was so perfect that the world hated him and killed him. They beat him almost to death, and they hung him on a cross, and they stabbed him in the side with a spear. Luckily, on the third day, he was God, as he had told us he was, and he got up, and he is now your Lord. Every knee shall bow, and every tongue shall confess his name. Whether you do it on this side of death or the other is up to you. So that's where I'm coming from. So all right, so here's the quote. This is from goodreads.com. You can pretty much just search, and that's all I did. I use DuckDuckGo as my search engine. Um, you can search Malcolm X quote on white liberals. So I'm going to read the whole thing to you. If you get offended easily, it's probably in the show for you anyway. Uh, but there's some language that was common for the time in this, and I'm not going to be afraid to say it. So here we go. The white liberal. This is from Malcolm X. The white liberal is the worst enemy to America and the worst enemy to the black man. I want to reread that first part and then I'll read the rest of it. The white liberal is the worst enemy to America and the worst enemy to the black man. And this is Malcolm X saying this. He says, let me first explain what I mean by this white liberal. In America, there's no such thing as Democrats and Republicans anymore. That's antiquated. In America, you have liberals and conservatives. This is what the American political structure boils down to among whites. The only people who are still living in the past and thinks in the terms of I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican is the American Negro. He's the only one who runs around bragging about party affiliation, and he's the only one who sticks to the Democrat or sticks to the Republican. But white people in America are divided into two liberals and Republicans, or rather, liberals and conservatives. And when you find white people vote in the political picture, they're not divided in terms of Democrats and Republicans. They're divided consistently as conservatives and liberal. The Democrats are conservative, vote with the Republicans who are conservative, which there are fewer and fewer. Side note, there are fewer and fewer conservative Democrats. Republicans are good. Democrats who are liberals vote with Republicans who are liberals, which there are more and more Republicans that are liberals. You find this in Washington, D.C. Now, the white liberals aren't white people who are for independence, who are liberal, who are moral, who are ethical in their thinking. They are just a faction of white people who are jockeying for power. Once again, power and money. The same as the white conservatives are a faction of people who are jockeying for power and money. Now they are fighting each other for booty, for power, for prestige, and the one who is the football in the game is the Negro. 20 million black people in this country are a political football, a political pawn, an economic football, an economic pawn, a social football, a social pawn. End quote. That's exactly right. The black person in this country, look, black people are what, 13 to 18% of the population? They've been taken advantage of, they've been used, but it's all about power. It's all about power and money, power and money. So let's remember the way Malcolm X felt about liberals as we go through these articles, as we go through these stories from from the past weekend, right? And so and but that look, that's the view we all need to have as liberals. They're not for anyone but themselves, and I understand everyone is inherently selfish. It's just to which degree that is, right? So to say that we're not in it for ourselves, um, y- you know, on some level is not true. It's just to what level you let your selfishness rock and roll. All right, so let me get to these. We're gonna start. Um, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna start backwards and work through the articles as I've sometimes. But we'll remember the white liberal as we get there. Breaking. This is from Libs of TikTok on X.com. Breaking. The Chicago protester who called to shoot ICE agents. Shoot ICE agents. And there's a video of this guy in Chicago at a No Kings rally, saying that every ICE agent needs to get wiped out, and then they need to shoot him. Side note: he's a white liberal. Uh, he's been identified as a staff member at the Wilbur Wright College. That's right. A staff member at a college who's a white liberal wants to kill all the ICE agents. But don't worry, the Republicans are the party of hate. The conservatives are the one spreading fear. Remember that's what we're told every day. Republicans need to bring down the rhetoric, need to calm the fight. It's not us. So then you go to C3 on X.com, and there's a picture of just a huge crowd of people for the No Kings rally. Now, let me say, we had a No Kings rally here, and there were some comments online and stuff. I'm all for it. I'm all for you going to have your rally. I don't care. That's part of America. Go have your rally. Go do your thing. It doesn't matter to me. I don't agree with it, so I'm not going to go. But you're free to do that. I'm never going to belittle someone for going and staging a rally. Good for you. And here it was kept peaceful, from what I could see. And go have your sign, carry your stuff. Yeah, I mean, if you want to go out and do, it doesn't matter to me. That's the great part about this country. If we had a king, you wouldn't have been allowed to. Other than that, good, good for you. But here it is: no kings. And then it says, and this rally is a picture of Atlanta, Georgia. It says almost 50% of the population in Atlanta is black. Almost 100% of the protesters in Atlanta are white. Another protest run by smelly old nutty hippies and paid protesters uh, on the left. There's nothing the left on is real because the white liberal is the problem. But it makes them feel good. They're all about feelings. Well, I feel like we need to help. Look, I want to help people too. I want to help people better themselves. Now, I've had the opportunity and the privilege of, through my life, seeing properties that are managed, that are rental properties, um, to see what the actual welfare state does to families, right? And if you saw what I see, you would know how much harm is done to a people group generation after generation by letting us think we're taking care by us letting them think we're taking care of them, white and black, right? All right, let's move on. That's not it. We just getting going. Now, the white liberal is the one that's okay with everything, right? Unless you're a Christian conservative, they're okay with you. So this brings us to this Mandani up in New York, right? This is from JD Vance on X.com. I've been reliably informed that Democrats are opposed to any kind of political violence. Remember, because the right wing is the wild side. The right wing, we're the hateful hate mongers. Yeah, hateful hate monger. Anyway, um, JD Vance says, I've been reliably informed that Democrats are opposed to any kind of political violence. So I look forward to them universally condemning Zorhan Mandami for campaigning with an unindicted co-conspirator to a terrorist plot that killed 6 New Yorkers. And then Mandami's posing with one of the guys who planned the 1993 attacks on the World Trade Center and is an apologist for terrorists. But don't worry, it's okay because the white liberal says it. Because he's not a Christian conservative, he must be okay. He must be right. New York's about to find out. It's about to be a problem. I mean, it's already a problem there. Got another article on the No King rally, and this is what that guy said. The white liberal from the college. I've got a quote here. Says And I quote, "You gotta grab a gun. We gotta turn around the guns on the fascist system. These ICE agents gotta get shot and wiped out. The same machinery that's on full display right there has to get wiped out." End quote. That's what the white liberals talk calling for. The biggest threat per Malcolm X to America and to the black American, the white liberal. He calling for you to go attack ICE with guns? That's crazy. Now, here's something. It looks like ABC is having to at least look like they're telling the truth on something. This is from MAGA Voice on X.com, and then it has a this week on ABC exclusive, um, you know, going at the bottom. It says ABC just admitted that the Democrat Party is responsible for the government shutdown. Look, the Democrat Party is responsible for the government shutdown over benefits to illegals, over extending Obamacare, which I don't know if you remember before Obamacare, we were told it wasn't our health rates weren't going to go up, but we had to just read the bill and all the things and you remember the liberal John McCain sold us out on this. If we, let's be accurate here. John McCain, just put his thumb in everybody's eye on this deal. Anyway, prices have gone up because of Obamacare, and it skyrocketed. Now, here's something else the white liberals mad about. This is from Eric Doherty, as I use a lot of his stuff often on X. Breaking: President Trump has ordered a drug strike on a very large drug-carrying submarine. Under my watch, the United States, quote, under my watch, the United States of America will not tolerate narco-terrorist trafficking, illegal drugs by land or by sea. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Two terrorists were killed, and at least 25,000 Americans will die if he allowed the submarine just due to the amount of drugs in it. Now, here's a thought this is not an original thought of mine. Here's a thought that was brought into my window over the weekend. Is this uh, us being down around Venezuela? Is it about drugs? Maybe. But more, who had the Venezuelans been teaming up with? Then who had Iran been teaming up with? The Russians, right? We were getting surrounded. The Russians were encroaching. Because remember, when Biden gave away, oh, my mind goes blank, the base in Afghanistan, which is on the border of China and Russia. It was a problem that the country looked so weak. So then Russia goes into Ukraine. China sends a spy balloon over the country for a week that we don't do anything about. Right? People start encroaching. Our sphere starts getting smaller. So what do we have to do? We have to say, whoa, 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 we got to take your legs out. So yeah, we help Israel with Iran, but also we're like, well, it's a direct shot to the rest of the world. We just flew 7 planes across the world, and you never even knew. They had your technology, Russia, as anti-air defense, and we flew through there, and you never even knew we were in the country, much less that we could operate this. The actual strike on the nuclear facilities and the damage it has done is secondary to us being able to strike wherever we want to, and there's nothing you can do about it. So then we stage now 10,000 troops and 10% of our navy off the coast of Venezuela, who's looking for, uh, Russian assistance. So they buzz us with 3 of their fighter planes. We don't even respond because we could have already shot them down 4 times, right? It's not a big deal. It's just the U.S. saying, we're back. We are the power of the world. Now, thank God for it. We need to plead to God to be able to stay that way. We need to get back in his will. We need to say we're sorry for all that we've done. But this is all to keep us safe. This is all to stop the decline of America. Anyway, just a thought. But if you're listening for thoughts. So there you go. All right, let's talk more about liberals. Kelly Loeffler on X.com. The liberal media won't touch this story. But yesterday, Stacey Abrams, you remember her out of Georgia. Is it Georgia? Yeah, I think it's Georgia. Yeah. Well, she's the one who keeps running for governor and then, never gets it, but says she is governor and, the white man's bad and all that. Anyway, yeah, Georgia. Voter mobilization group closed its doors in Georgia for good. Much like the Marxist organization BLM Inc., it was exposed for illegal activity. What? Who saw that coming? Kelly Loeffler goes on to say it went bankrupt and collapsed under the weight of its own grift. That's right. All of these organizations, BLM, remember they went out and bought mansions and all that. They all need somebody else's money. That's the thing also about the liberal. Oh, we have to support this cause and we have to support. How much money have you personally given it? Not ask for donations, money that you made through blood, sweat, and tears, that you sacrificed time with your family. How much of that money have you given before you ask me to give mine? And then you don't ask me to give it, you take it through taxation. You steal it from my check before I ever get my check. How much have you given? White liberal. Yeah. Though, back to Kelly Loeffler's article here, though it had little relevance in recent years, Georgia can finally close the chapter on false voter suppression claims and claims on delivering strong election integrity laws for law abiding Americans. That's exactly right. The race pimp make money, you know, pimp makes money by pimping. So if they're not pimping race politics, they're not making any money. Just like this organization, just like BLM. As frequent listeners know, I'm a South Park fan. Uh, and just reminds me of the pimping episode with Butters. Anyway, that's how they make money. Oh. Anyway, let's continue. Oh, this is funny. No, it's not funny. Breaking. This is from X.com. End wokeness. Biden granted a visa in 2024 to a man who joined the October 7th attack in Israel. What? Yeah, they're sending people here preparing to kill us. This man was part of the October 7th attack in Israel. His name is Mahmoud Yaqub Mutandi. I don't, you put the East Texas all over that one, boys and girls. You just have to figure that out. He is armed and is living in Louisiana. A mere 20 miles from where I sit is Louisiana. Maybe a little bit more, but I mean, it's not far. It's less than 30 minutes away. I know that. An armed terrorist is there. Now, the update is he was just taken into custody by DOJ and is now faces terror and visa fraud charges. I'm not talking about the credit card. These are the people that were allowed in. This guy, he didn't even have to come in illegally. He was given a visa. The white liberal hates our country. I don't know how. And I'm not talking about your white liberal teacher at your local school district. They're dangerous because they don't know enough to know they're dangerous. They're dangerous because once again they operate off feeling. They don't want to be mean to anybody. They don't want to be hateful. I don't either. But I want to make sure we're all protected. I want to make sure the wheels of government go in the direction that they're supposed to. I want you to have the maximum amount of freedom, which generally means we need the minimal amount of government. I don't need the government to tell me everything I can do. I just need them to get out of the way and arrest bad guys, protect our nations. It'd be nice if we had a good power grid. But even if we didn't, we can get government out of the way of that and let private industry do it. Private industry can do a lot if we can move government out of the way. Anyway, let's continue. Breaking X.com. It's not breaking because it's the next day, but at exactly 1 p.m., all of the No King, this is from Right Angle News Network, all of the No Kings protesters at Times Square immediately dispersed. I mean, you're there for protest, but you only stay for a allotted amount of time. It's as if you were getting paid. People with money that can pay other people to act in their behalf. What's another term for that? Boss, an owner. Well, let's say you're richer than everybody in the land and they give you some and then you pay them. Like if you wanted to put an army together and you were old school and you wanted to go, oh, you'd be a king and you'd pay to raise an army. So these people are just serving a different king. At the No Kings rally. Give me a break. Hey, now if you were there because you wanted to be there and that's what you believe, that's fine. I mean, and you're free to be there if you got paid for it, which most of them did. Here's what Ted Cruz put on X.com. This is a CNN article from Friday, June 8th, 2012. CNN. Liberals want Obama to be a king, not a president. Whoa, 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 whoa. What? I was going to say some liberals want a ruler who would be unrestrained by Congress and the Constitution. And we've seen that because that's what Biden was. This is what they got. Constitution. Don't worry, we're just going to do it anyway until you force us to stop. Look what it did. Look what it did. Okay, this is from Gunther Engelman. If you're not following him, you need to. Approximately 650,000 people attended the No Kings rally nationwide. They were saying 7 million. And then they were using photographs and video from, hold on, I've got that somewhere. I'll get to that. I don't remember what it is, but they were using archived footage to make the rallies look huge. 650,000. You have to understand, for Charlie Kirk's funeral, 100,000 people showed up at a baseball stadium and a football stadium. So 1/6 of the No Kings rally, this isn't a big movement. It's all I'm trying to say. It's paid for propaganda. And the reason it isn't going as far is because USAID and these other government agencies are going away that's been paying them. The money they steal from us, that they've been getting paid for, is getting less and less. Not all done yet. Oh, here it is. MSNBC. No. Patriot Oasis. Breaking. Analysts are calling this the biggest fraud in American history. MSNBC falsely aired a video from 2017 claiming it was live footage from yesterday No Kings rally. What was it though? It doesn't say what footage it was from, but it was from 2017. Yeah, there's a lot of people in 2017, 8 years ago. For those of you that needed help with the math there. It, we're lied to, we're manipulated, and people can't. Who who's watching MSNBC other than these people that I quote for where these white liberals get their stories from? The most dangerous people in America, according to Malcom X. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes on election night and stuff, I watch MSNBC just for a good little joke. Here's something concerning. I'm not really sure how I feel about it. Eric Doherty, the U.S. Secret Service has uncovered a suspicious hunting stand with direct line of sight to where the President Trump exits Air Force One at Palm Beach International Airport. It's been set up months ago. Um, they we just heard the white liberal at the No Kings rally say that you had to pick up guns and fight against ICE. Democrat politicians all the time are saying, What's the guy? What's the guy running for Attorney General in Virginia saying that he wants his opponent to be shot and his children to be murdered while in his mom's arms? Right? So should we? And side note, our president has been shot once. Luckily, by the grace of God, it hit him in the ear. Another guy had another gun, tried to take him out at a golf course. But I mean, Charlie Kirk murdered. Steve Scalise got shot at the congressional baseball game. Rand Paul got beat up in his front yard. Ronald Reagan, who assassination attempts, right? I don't know how you want to play this. Republicans get shot and killed. Conservatives trying to do what's right get shot. Lord, please just protect these people. Please protect me. Please protect everybody listening that'll speak out and and say what's right. Protect their families. Protect protect us. Amen. Yeah, but here's what's crazy. It says prior to the president's return to West Palm Beach, the United States Secret Service discovered what appeared to be an elevated hunting stand within sight of the Air Force One landing zone. FBI FBI Director Cash Patel tells. The white liberal is at war with us. Once again, not your liberal teacher friends that, but the people they support, the ones that say that we're the haters. No. And here's what always happens timesofisrael.com. In a blatant ceasefire violation, IDF says terror operatives attacked troops in Rafah. Hamas denies responsibility as military responds with airstrikes. This is my thing with the whole Middle East, the whole Israel, the whole Gaza thing. It's like the song in Beauty and the Beast. It's a tale as old as time. These two groups see this as a holy war. The Jews are fighting so that the Jewish Messiah can come back. Side note, they missed that boat. He's back. And he's going to come again. His name's Jesus Christ. And then the Muslims are waiting for their God to return. Whatever imam. And so if you believe your place in eternity depends on you killing the other guy, that's what you do, and that's where we are. It might be an oversimplification, but I don't think it is. Okay, let's go to Jonathan Turley, jonathanturley.org. Two alleged Antifa members charged with terrorism-related crimes. What? Who would have ever thought that this happens? We have to defund Antifa. Well, once again, let's look and see who they're supporting. But remember, the attorney general candidate we just talked about in Virginia and what he said, and Democrats are like, well, he really isn't a bad guy. He didn't necessarily mean that. Well, Trump just commuted the sentence of George Santos. And so here's what Representative Lauren Boebert says about him. George Santos was somewhat of a rogue, but there are many rogues throughout our country that aren't forced to serve 7 years in prison. Started to think about George when the subject of a Democrat Senator, oh, this is from Trump actually, Senator Richard Denang Dick Blumenthal came up again. As everyone remembers, Denang started a, yeah, Rick, he told everybody that, Richard Blumenthal told everybody he was a Vietnam vet and all this. Anyway, what happened to this George Santos was he's a liar. He's a politician and a liar. And he made up some stuff, but then he told the truth about how Republicans are grifting the system. And he told the truth about the way the inner workings of our party is. Which, even side note, you can see it locally anytime you want to, wherever you are in this country. Just go try to get involved with your party if you just want to see how corrupt things are, Democrat or Republican, it doesn't matter, because it's always about power. It's always about power and money, and who you can get your picture taken by. Not just in Washington D.C., not just in Austin, not just in Little Rock. I was trying to think of Oklahoma's capital, but I don't know. But not just in Baton Rouge. Wherever you are, wherever your county seat is, not just up in Paris, Texas, right? Not just over in Benton County, Arkansas. Everywhere, it's all about who you can get your picture taken with, who you can get your power with. Go join your party apparatus, and then sit around and watch. Pay attention. Those that get power want to keep it. And for the Republicans, they threw George Santos in jail, in prison, and in solitary confinement, so that he couldn't talk to anyone. That's the difference in the Republicans and the Democrats. The Democrats, their guy, he said he wants to murder the children of his opponents. Democrats are like, oh, he didn't really mean it. It's our boy. He's good. Right, liberals, man. Let's continue. Real Robert on X.com. Here it is. Devin Nunes has been vindicated. 20 CIA and FBI agents have blown the whistle, confirming that Barack Hussein Obama and his chief of staff, CIA Director John Brennan, created the false Russia hoax, doctored intelligence, to overthrow the duly elected president of the United States in 2016, and locked the report in a CIA vault for nearly a decade. What we all said was happening, and everybody called us crazy, and everybody said it wasn't true. Oops. They did, but it's no big deal because it's in the past. No need to talk about it. Let's just move forward. We won't do it again, Mom. We won't do it again, Dad. Just give us another candy bar and let us go on about our way. We just stole a little money from little Johnny. We just broke one window. We just did a little bit of meth. We just robbed a convenience store. It wasn't a bank. We just stole an old car, not a new car. How far do you want to go? I shot him, but I didn't murder. Right? It can keep going. Well, they deserved it because they had more money than me, so I only took them for $1,000. We were right. We have to have, and all that comes from, we have to have a moral guidepost as a country, and we can't be afraid to talk about the fact that our moral guidepost is Jesus Christ. Without that, the world is nuts. That's just crazy. Let's continue. Back to end wokeness on X.com. Bolton on mishandling, John Bolton on the mishandling of classified info. This is a serious crime, a devastating indictment. It's the end of Donald Trump's career. That's John Bolton talking about when they tried to set Donald Trump up as having information he shouldn't have, which now John Bolton has been indicted for because he was a saboteur working against our president. Yeah. Last one, back to Right Angle News Network. Breaking. Republicans are now demanding Don Lemon be arrested for indictment or incitement of violence against federal agents after he told illegals to buy guns and defend themselves from ICE. Once again, just a peaceful lefty. Peace and love, baby, peace and love. The Republicans are hateful. We have to be informed in this world. We have to know what's going. Look, it's nice just to bury your head in the sand and whatever sand you want to. If it's little Susie's ballet and little Johnny's football practice or volleyball and basketball or golf, that's all okay. We're allowed to do all those things, but we have to know what's happening. We have to talk about it. We have to make sure our family knows, right? I mean, they don't have to know the extreme details depending on the age of your kid. My daughter's 10, so you know, she's like, "Oh, Dad, they told me we can't be driving cars at school because it's bad for the environment." She goes, "But I know that's not right." Yes, you do know that's not right. We have to talk to them about it. We have to talk to our families about it. We have to talk to our friends about it. We have to talk to our neighbors about it. The silent majority is what got us into this problem. Oh, you don't talk about religion and politics at Thanksgiving. Why not? Are these the people you care most about? If they are, then one, here's how I can spend eternity with you. It's really important. Two, here's how we can save our country. What if somebody gets offended? Then get offended. Get offended. I'm rubber, you're glue. What you say bounces off me and sticks to you. Sometimes it hurts and it sucks. And you're like, oh, then you're like, oh. A lot of times I just think, oh, that person's probably an idiot. Because guess what? The world is full of them. Idiots, that is. But it's also full of good people. We have to go with boldness. We have to go with courage. And we have to try all that, to do all that. And even though I just called half the world idiots, we should be kind about it. Know when you're dealing with an idiot. They're playing the game with half their mind tied behind their back. All right, everybody, I'm going to get out of here. Here's the good news. Jesus Christ died for our sins so that we can go to heaven because he loves us enough. He wants us for eternity. Romans 10:9, 10:10, John 3:16. If you read those, you'll know the way to heaven. I hope God blesses each and every one of you. Don't be dismayed because victory is at hand. All right, we'll be back. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Hey, I just wanted to take a second before the show and say thanks for listening. I appreciate it. If you would share and download this and subscribe to my channels, however you take them in. And anyway, enjoy today's episode.